Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Cameras and Coffee. I had this whole big plan about what we're going to talk about today. And it was pretty much routine camera gear type chit chat, but all of that was upended by an email I woke up to this morning. The email subject line is important information about Canon camera products. It comes from Amazon Services. Dear seller, please read this email carefully as it may affect your ability to sell certain products in our store. As part of our ongoing efforts to provide the best possible customer experience, we are implementing approval requirements for Canon camera products in our stores. What does this mean for me? Effective August 16th, 2020, your listings for the affected Canon camera products in Amazon's online store in the US will be removed. Please contact the brand if you would like to apply to become an authorized reseller on Amazon. Does not say whether this applies to just digital or all Canon cameras. And it also, because I sell both, also does not say if it's just some SKUs within those two different classes. Also doesn't say how to contact Canon to get approval, nor what the requirements are to become an authorized reseller. I do not use Fulfilled by Amazon. Everything I do is seller fulfilled, so the rest of the email doesn't apply to me, but basically, if you're watching this video and do sell Canon on Amazon and are using Fulfilled by Amazon, as of today, you cannot send them anything more. FBA for Canon in the US for third-party sellers will not be fulfilled anymore, and you have to request all of your inventory be shipped back to you. So it's kind of a big mess for small camera resellers on Amazon today. And what does that mean? Okay. Canon's decision to do this is very detrimental to small shops. Basically, what this is going to do is allow big shops, the B&H's, KEH, Adorama, probably Mike's and other chains like that, to qualify to sell on Amazon, as well as Amazon themselves, obviously. But little shops like mine, I've looked into other brands, what they require to sell on Amazon as an authorized seller, and it's usually about 5,000 units per quarter of ordering, or in some of the smaller ones, it was like $5,000. That seems to be like a magic number. But I haven't looked into a lot of brands, there are only a handful. There's possible other brands have different requirements. My guess is that Canon, being the second biggest camera manufacturer, would have a pretty high bar of entry to sell as an authorized reseller on Amazon. So fortunately, have not gotten similar emails from Etsy or eBay. And so my hope is that that's just going to affect Amazon. But what that means for sellers, there's a few things sellers are going to have to do. If you're watching this and you sell on Amazon and you use FBA, it's a good idea to recall all your inventory and find another channel for it. Also means trying to find other places to sell it. Amazon is my favorite place to sell by far. They make it super easy for sellers. Their dispute policies are very fair to both parties, and as long as sellers live up to Amazon's expectations, things don't really have issues. I have very, very few issues selling on Amazon. They also make it very easy for me to make sure my pricing is competitive and to list and maintain my inventory. It's an awesome back of desk interface. So fortunately, there are still some brands that haven't implemented this sort of thing, Pentax and Minolta, and be able to continue selling some cameras, at least for the foreseeable future, on Amazon. And fortunately, Amazon also gave us 2 months notice. That's huge. That is plenty of notice and plenty of time for us to adapt, and plenty of time for sellers like me to look into Shopify. So at any rate, what does it mean for buyers? This is the bigger question. The sellers, that's a small number of us, maybe a few dozen. people or shops are affected by this. What it means for buyers is bigger, because this is going to drive the price of Canon cameras up. Amazon third-party sellers have had for the last however many years really competitive pricing on used cameras. And this is specifically for used cameras, by the way. This will increase the pricing. If this affects film cameras, then it will definitely drive up the price of film cameras for students. And well, there's still eBay and Etsy, of course, and Shopify stores, but it also is going to decentralize where people go for this product, meaning that if you're in the market for a used Canon camera, you may still be able to get them from some resellers on Amazon, but if you're going to really be price shopping, you can't just go to Amazon, look at the 30 or 40 sellers who have them, and pick the cheapest one of the condition that you want to buy. It means you're going to have to go to different stores and do a little bit more work. So it's not the end of the world. It is, Steinbeck, how is that even comfortable? It cannot be comfortable. It is, of course, I think, frustrating for me trying to make sure that my buyers have the best experience they can, trying to provide the top level of customer service, because Amazon, frankly, makes that very easy for me to do. This is one of the many joys about running a business, is that even a small side business, there are these ups and downs. And so I was thinking about this morning while I walked Steinbeck, and I walked a little bit more slowly thinking about this, because I was pretty discouraged about it at first, but also an opportunity to explore different things. So at any rate, got off track, back to what this means for everyone else. And basically what this means for everyone else is that it's going to be harder to find a good, reliable Canon camera, cheap, from a variety of sellers. It also means that if someone's buying off of Amazon, they're not going to have the Amazon A to Z protection on their purchase. They'll have to go with whatever that shop offers. eBay and Etsy have different types of protection. I'm not even sure if they're comparable, honestly. But if you were to buy just from some random guy's website, who knows if you have any protection for that, especially now with credit cards more and more going the way of getting rid of warranty protection for purchases. So basically, there are many factors that are making it unenjoyable to be a consumer in the US right now. And this has been going on for a couple of years. This isn't just like today this one thing happened and now there's all these cascading things. Another frustrating thing is that US law, as I understand it, does protect people's ability to resell items. There is nothing in that prevents stores like Amazon from creating deals with brands so that those brands can limit who is selling at that store. That's also allowed. So there are these two competing forces: somebody's ability to sell their property and a company's ability to prevent other people from selling that property in a certain place. So at any rate, as long as eBay continues to allow people to sell these brands, then there's an avenue for people who want to have a side income trading cameras or build a business up to the point where they can do the required sales volume to become an authorized brand reseller. So yeah, this is basically just one small way in which the U.S. is continuing this sounds like it's an organized effort, and I don't think that's the case. In fact, I know it's not the case. There is not like a war on small business in the U.S., but for as much as people say, and you can hear it time and time again, small business is the backbone of the economy, which frankly is not true in any way, shape, or form. things like this prove that it is just a talking point. No one actually cares about small business people. The companies that are protected are the large established institutions who are doing everything they can to prevent small businesses and innovative startups from getting a foothold. So at any rate, there's not like a concerted effort against small businesses, but there are big brands with entrenched interests that go out of their way to make sure that small businesses cannot ever become a threat to them. This is just one way in which that manifests. And frankly, there's not enough money on the line to try and fight this. So then the last thing I was trying to figure out, why is it that Canon would do this? And I know other brands have done this with Amazon in the past. My brother and I were talking this morning, and he suggested it was because of counterfeits. I suspect that's not so much the case. I think it's very hard to make a counterfeit camera. I think my best guess is for what's causing, what the impetus for this would be there are a few different possibilities. Could be Amazon wants to negotiate a cheaper Canon digital camera purchase price from Canon. And they could say, if you give us a cheaper purchase price than anyone else in the world, we'll make sure you don't have third-party sellers. Could just be a bargaining chip. Speculation on my part. Could also be Canon came in and said, your third-party sellers are driving down our ability to work with our authorized sellers, making it hard for us. Get rid of them, or you can't sell Canon products on your shop anymore, on Amazon anymore. Also a possibility, complete speculation. Could also be just some lawyer at Canon said, we need to protect the brand. These guys are watering it down. People are buying Canon cameras that don't work from these third-party sellers. That makes us look bad. Speculation. I've heard stranger thought processes in my life, quite frankly. So it could also be one of those things that I didn't even think of. And I don't like to speculate on this channel because that always gets into dangerous territory. Short of Amazon or Canon coming out and telling us why they made this decision, we're probably never going to know the actual reason. Suffice to say, for you who are selling on Amazon, this is a glimpse into what the future likely looks like, where the Amazon marketplace becomes less of an innovative, small business friendly type setting and more of, hey, let's make this a tool for large businesses to protect their entrenched interests. There is a potential for the marketplace portion of Amazon to go that way. So and then of course what this means for you as a seller or as a buyer rather, is you're going to have to do more work to find a good camera. It means that you're going to have to find multiple shops, email those shops, talk to a person directly, and ask them questions before you buy if you have any concerns. So this is life, and hopefully it doesn't affect too many sellers, and hopefully it doesn't affect too many buyers as well. But as this happens, and on August 16th, I'll know whether or not this affects film cameras. And if it does, of course, we'll chat about this a little bit more and how that affects the film industry. But in the meantime, that is an interesting thing to wake up to finding out that an entire brand that you've been selling and helping customers have good experiences with is just about to evaporate. So, anyway, happy Wednesday, everybody. And we'll come back on Friday and we'll talk about what I had outlined to talk about today, which is all kinds of new lenses and gear, and how exciting some of those new products are. Have a good Wednesday. I'll talk to you on Friday. Steinbeck. I know you were asleep, but I got to turn off the camera. You can't use me as a pillow when I have to turn off the camera, pup. I'm getting up. Getting up.